At 11:35 p.m., Julian Bynum texted his girlfriend that he was stepping outside to meet a man known as Draco. 1 minute later, surveillance captured Bynum walking along a quiet North Hollywood street. A man emerged from a parked Mercedes, stayed low behind the vehicle until Bynum passed, then rushed toward him. Before fleeing, the shooter appeared to retrieve something from the ground. Police came to believe the killing grew from a dispute between Chicago men living out west, a missing gold chain, a stolen Rolex, and an alleged bounty worth tens of thousands of dollars. Then detectives pulled cell phone records, flight manifests, surveillance footage, and forensic evidence. And the case moved far beyond one street. One phone traveled from Chicago to Las Vegas before appearing in Benedict Canyon, where 3 women were killed and 4 other people were wounded outside a short-term rental. The 6 attempted murder counts filed later also covered 2 people who escaped the gunfire without being hit. Court records and police affidavits describe budget flights, rented vehicles, a Beverly Hills high-rise, and phones that kept recording movement. 3 men were charged in the Benedict Canyon attack. One of them was also charged with Bynum's murder. All 3 pleaded not guilty in the latest detailed public reporting reviewed for this film. The charges remain allegations, not proof. Different victims, different locations, yet investigators said the evidence kept tracing back toward Chicago. What connected 2 attacks more than 2,000 miles from where the trail began? Julian Bynum was 30 years old and originally from Chicago. By 2022, police records described him as sharing a home in Las Vegas with another Chicago native, Nasir Warfield. According to an affidavit later summarized by the Los Angeles Times, each man accused the other of stealing. A friend told investigators that Warfield believed $90,000 was missing. Bynum denied taking it. The same account said Warfield took Bynum's Rolex, and Bynum took Warfield's gold chain. Detectives alleged that the dispute escalated into a bounty of $20,000 to $30,000 on Bynum's life. That allegation has not been proven in court. Warfield has not been charged in either Los Angeles homicide case, and his mother told the Times that he had nothing to do with the killings. Police heard that a hit had been offered to 2 Chicago men known by the nicknames Draco and Chevy. Bynum became concerned enough to return to Chicago with his girlfriend and newborn child. But on December 16, 2022, he was back in Los Angeles on a trip, visiting a friend. The 2 went to a townhouse on Simpson Avenue in North Hollywood. His friend left at about 11. Bynum stayed behind. At 11:35, he sent a message about stepping outside. At 11:36, surveillance showed him walking south on Simpson Avenue. The footage, as detectives later described it, captured a man slipping from the passenger side of a Mercedes-Benz GLC parked down the street. The man crouched behind the vehicle as Bynum passed. Then he ran toward him. The shooting was not a random encounter, police later said. Investigators initially considered whether Bynum had been killed during a drug purchase. As the case developed, they came to believe he had been specifically targeted. For weeks, that murder appeared to stand alone. Then, 43 days later, another ambush unfolded on the other side of Los Angeles. Iyana Hutton, Nenah Davis, and Destiny Sims had come west with friends. They had roots in the Chicago area and spent the night at a concert at the Roxy in West Hollywood and at a bowling alley before returning to a short-term rental on Ellison Drive. The house sat in Benedict Canyon, in a hillside neighborhood north of Beverly Hills. At about 2:30 in the morning on January 28th, the group arrived back at the rental. A surviving witness told detectives that 2 men in ski masks and black clothing opened fire without saying a word. Police later said more than 30 rounds were fired. Hutton, Davis, and Sims were inside a parked Porsche Macan. All 3 were killed. 4 other people were wounded. 2 more escaped the attack without being shot. Police said the 3 women were not the intended targets. That distinction matters, but it does not reduce what was lost. Iyana Hutton was 33. Friends said she was pursuing music and had been excited about the trip. Nenah Davis was 29, a mother and one of Hutton's closest friends. She had worked as a nurse. Destiny Sims was 26, a hairstylist and a mother of 3. Their photographs later stood beside police officials at the news conference announcing arrests. Before the route maps, phone pings, and charging language, there were 3 women who went out for a night with friends and never came home. The first major break was a car. Detectives canvassed the canyon for surveillance video and found footage of a blue Tesla leaving after the shooting. Police said it had damage to the right front fender and no license plates. Tips from the public helped trace the vehicle to a high-rise on Wilshire Boulevard in Beverly Hills. The apartment connected to the Tesla was empty when detectives searched it, but cameras in the building's lobby had recorded 3 men in black hooded sweatshirts and black pants leaving roughly 4 hours before the attack. According to the police affidavit, the men were Daries Stanford, Dejean Thompkins, and Dontae Williams. That footage did not end the investigation. It gave detectives a place to begin rebuilding the movement around the shooting. They obtained a warrant for location data tied to a phone registered to Stanford. The records, as described by investigators, showed the device traveling from Chicago to Las Vegas 3 days before the homicides. Around the time of the attack, the phone appeared in Benedict Canyon. By the next day, it was back in Las Vegas before returning to Chicago. Flight manifests added another layer. Detectives said Thompkins and Williams sat next to each other on a Spirit Airlines flight from Chicago to Las Vegas 3 days before the shooting. The day after the killings, the records showed them flying back to Chicago from Las Vegas. The travel was not hidden behind private jets or elaborate cover stories. The alleged route ran through ordinary airline seats, rented transportation, temporary rooms, and personal phones, and one of those phones reached backward into the Bynum case. Detectives examining Thompkins' records said his phone left the Beverly Hills high-rise around 10:41 on the night Bynum was killed. It then appeared in North Hollywood from 11:21 until 11:37. Bynum was shot at 11:36. That narrow window connected the Beverly Hills base to Simpson Avenue at the moment of the first ambush. It did not place every defendant in both attacks, and prosecutors did not charge Stanford or Williams with Bynum's murder. The additional murder count was filed against Thompkins. Physical evidence strengthened the second case. Investigators reported that Williams' DNA was recovered from a casing at the Benedict Canyon scene. Detectives also searched Warfield's home in Las Vegas. A forfeiture filing said they seized $56,000 in cash, firearms, and phones. According to the affidavit, those devices contained numerous communications between Warfield and Thompkins. Again, Warfield has not been charged in either homicide case. The cash, the phones, and the alleged communications are parts of the investigators' theory, not a verdict. By spring 2023, the investigation has spread across several states. Thompkins was arrested in Will County, Illinois in April. Williams was arrested in Gary, Indiana. Police tracked Stanford to an apartment in Manhattan overlooking the Hudson River and arrested him in May. The operation involved Los Angeles detectives, the FBI, Chicago police, Illinois authorities, and New York law enforcement. The arrest was separated by hundreds of miles, but prosecutors placed the 3 men in one Benedict Canyon case. The Los Angeles County District Attorney charged each defendant with 3 counts of murder, 6 counts of attempted murder, and 6 counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm. Thompkins received a 4th murder count in connection with Julian Bynum. The complaint also alleged the special circumstances of lying in wait and multiple murders, along with firearm allegations. Those are the prosecution's charges. They are not findings of guilt. In the latest detailed public account reviewed for this film, published in November 2024, Thompkins, Williams, and Stanford had each pleaded not guilty. An attorney for Stanford said the evidence did not prove that her client committed the Benedict Canyon homicides or that he was involved. Attorneys for the other 2 men did not provide a substantive response to that report. The motive for Benedict Canyon remains less settled than the road investigators described. Police said the attack grew from events in Chicago and alleged connections to rival factions there, but the 3 women who died were not believed to be the intended targets. Investigators have not publicly resolved every question about who ordered the attack, which people were being sought, or why everyone at that rental became exposed to the gunfire. That uncertainty is part of the case, not a gap to fill with speculation. What the public record does show is a sequence of final text at 11:35, a targeted killing at 11:36. 43 days later, a second ambush, a blue Tesla leading to a high-rise, lobby cameras leading to 3 names, phone records and flight manifests tracing Chicago, Las Vegas, Beverly Hills, North Hollywood, and Benedict Canyon, a casing carrying DNA, and arrests in Illinois, Indiana, and New York. The trail may look precise when reduced to a map. The human result was not. Julian Bynum was killed in North Hollywood. Iyana Hutton, Nenah Davis, and Destiny Sims were killed in Benedict Canyon. 4 other people were wounded. families were left to live with consequences that no root line can explain. The court must decide whether prosecutors can prove the charges against the 3 defendants beyond a reasonable doubt. Until then, the presumption of innocence remains, and every allegation must be labeled for what it is. But the investigative question that opened this story now has a documented answer. The 2 attacks were not connected by coincidence alone. Detectives said they were connected by movements: a vehicle, a building, flights, phones, forensic evidence, and one man charged in both cases. For exclusive case file breakdowns, source-backed investigations, and more, visit TopTrendReportTV.com.